Looks like we're in the clear for now.
Oh my goodness, I'm a little person. That's what tonight. Come on, Rob. I want to make sure they're not.
Okay, we'll call our meeting to order tonight. You want to call roll?
Sure. Commissioner Blevins?
Here.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Siragusa?
Here.
Commissioner Roberts? Here. Commissioner Stallings?
Yep.
Commissioner Orr? Oh, he's not present. And Mayor Mason?
Here. Item number 2 is the invocation, which will be led by Dan Scheidel, and the flag salute I'll do. So let's stand for that.
Mr. Mayor, council members, please join me in prayer. Lord, I give you thanks for the city and its officials and their employees. They do such good work in our community, and I'm thankful for them. May this budget planning meeting go smoothly. We're grateful for the mayor, our city councilors, and administrative staff. All of them get along fairly well, and we're thankful for that. I pray that collegiality continues as they take a look at the budget. I pray that you guide them always, satisfy the needs that need to be met during this meeting, strengthen council as they make tough decisions. I pray that they will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. I pray that they will be fruitful. Father, please guide them and make this meeting be productive. And may the Lord bless you, keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3, 3.1, conduct a hearing on the proposed 2023-2024 City of Enid budget and related authorities financial plan.
This is where we have a hearing for the budget starting July 1. And hearing is a requirement of the Oklahoma Municipal Budget Act. And we have to have it published 5 days at least before the hearing, and we have to have the hearing at least 15 days before the start of the new fiscal year. And this is, I believe, if anyone wants to speak or have signed up, when they would talk.
So we have no one that signed up, but is there anyone in the crowd, small crowd, that wants to say anything about the budget before we get started? Okay, if not, all you.
Okay. We can move on to the next.
So we'll go to item 4 then. 4.1, discuss, take necessary action on the fiscal year 2023-2024 City of Enid budget.
So tonight we will be discussing the 7 funds identified in green. This is our capital improvement program, street and alley, our capital improvement fund, street improvement, sewer, stormwater, and we have a capital projects escrow fund that has to do with stormwater, and that's developer fees that are recorded by basin when the developers come in and pay their permits. So all sections again are on each section of the agenda tonight if anything you would like to discuss or make motions or anything like that. So it would be exactly the same as how we did it on Tuesday night to prepare for hopefully a proposed approval on next Tuesday, the 16th. So as I said, capital improvement program overview, it starts on street and alley, page 100, and these are the total expenses for each of those funds. Morelli and Jason will be discussing all the details. I will let you know the majority of these funds come from a transfer from EMA. EMA is where our utility revenues fall into, and the EMA transfer amount to cover the total cost is in that second column. There are a few other revenues that take place in these funds, and they are listed in the detail pages. A couple of them are capital recovery, which is just a pass-through. So I believe that has to do with the developers, and when we receive the revenue, we pay out the expense. If we do not have the revenue, we do not pay out any expense for that capital recovery. And then there's interest in a few of our funds also. But other than Fund 30, the street and alley, they have a vehicle license tax and a gasoline tax. So if no questions regarding that, I will
I just want, for the new commissioner that's here, explain the EMA funds as opposed to the non-EMA funds.
EMA is our
so that
Enid
he-
Municipal Authority, and that is where our utility revenue comes from. So our water, our stormwater, our sewer fees, landfill, our commercial pickup, our residential, and that would be in our Enid Municipal Authority section of the budget. And they have a few departments that fall under that, operations, which is our solid waste services, our utility services, which actually do the billing of our water, and our water production department. And then we have the water plant management also, utility maintenance, which utility maintenance does all the fixes of our lines after the water plant, and water production takes care of everything prior to getting to the plant. So general fund is where our sales tax comes in, and that's the other departments that are in that, which there's a lot more we talked about. She talked about it on Monday last week, and that's where our sales tax covers, other than the restricted sales tax that we actually have to transfer to EMA for sales tax of debt payments, and our cost sales tax, which is for the debt payments for CAW. Any other questions? I'll let Morelli start.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and City Manager. This is the FY24 budget. Going to talk about 7 funds tonight in the capital improvement. Capital improvement program mainly consists of major infrastructure repairs and major construction, major maintenance, which is not typically done by city staff or city utilities or city streets. The proposed budget has about $16 million, consists of 51 projects total. These are the 7 funds: fire, street and alley, capital improvement, street improvement, sanitary sewer, stormwater, and water capital. Jennifer mentioned, sanitary sewer and stormwater has the dedicated funds, the dedicated revenue, and the remaining are coming from EMA or general fund. Fire, there are a couple projects in the fire fund on the capital maintenance. One is remodeling of existing bathrooms. The current bathrooms doesn't have privacy So we are going to upgrade it to a privacy bathrooms. Number 2 is going to be a fire station number 3 has a concerned ditch on the north side, which is on Randolph. This is going to be, minimize the maintenance of the ditch. Next is the Street and Alley Fund. Street and Alley Fund is a maintenance fund. Public Works particularly use these funds for unimproved streets to like rocking the roads. And also currently they are using for the asphalt the city local streets. And the next one is a street repair program. This is mainly on the concrete streets. So this is another $1 million that will be administered by Public Works Department. So these are the 2 funds, Public Works, the 900,000, Kraken property maintenance, and this one, these are $1.9 million they maintain between the 2 Public Works departments. This is another a successful program. This is typically used by residents. It's a private-public partnership, so we pay up to 50% of the sidewalk repairs, both commercial and residential properties. In the last year, we had about 5 residential applications came in, and we are working through on the cost estimates and also the bids on that. And we have 1 commercial application. Capital Improvement Fund, there are a couple projects on the grants. So we got 2 grant projects this year. One is Prairie View School Trail. It's about a $1.2 million grant. It's an 80-20. ODOT is going to provide 80% and city is going to match 20% of it. Last year we had a design about $50,000, but we found out ODOT is providing the complete funding, so we had to hold on that one. So typically ODOT projects, we have to choose the list of designers from them, their list, so that's why we couldn't design it. So it's going to be designed and bid next year, FY24. The reason for little high dollar amount is like we got about 3 major storm sewer boxes that needs to be built part of this trail. If you have driven in this road, I mean, there is a drainage issues and stuff like that, so it's going over some drainage structures. So.
Morale, is this going to zigzag? I mean, I don't know. This is a great project. We wouldn't even be doing this if it hadn't been for the ODOT grant, like you said.
Right.
That we got. This has been requested by people in the neighborhood. This is requested by a commissioner.
Right.
This is fantastic.
Yep. So this is going to be on the north side of the willow.
Okay.
And there are 3 major storm sewers it's going to cross, and also there are 3 streets, cross streets, it's going to be incorporated.
Now, they're already cutting out that intersection going up into the housing area. That's not part of this, is it?
No, it's going to be just along the willow.
Yeah.
That's part of the concrete repair program, fixing an entrance to one of
Yeah.
those streets. They just fixed another one, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's a program that didn't exist 5 years ago. It's fantastic, but no, it doesn't have anything to do with this.
Okay. I didn't think.
Is this just a walking trail that's going in this
Yes,
field
sir.
by the school?
Yes, sir. It-
Okay.
It connects the walking trail from Willow all the way to,
Now, we show, on ours, it shows it goes all the way over to Garland, but that's not the case, right?
No, it doesn't go.
it doesn't go to Garland, it goes from Willow, right, Morale,
Yeah,
to Prairie
to
View.
the school.
Well, ours has the blue line going all the way over.
Yeah,
I think we must have the newest version
Right,
on
yeah.
the screen in front of you, so no, it doesn't go to Garland.
Okay, so it's not out in the field.
okay. Gotcha, thank you.
For clarification, these are the 10-foot wide trails?
10-foot wide trail.
So it's not just a sidewalk, it's the full trail width?
Yeah.
Currently, there's only about a block that we built, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, so this,
But that is a 5 feet sidewalk.
that's
Yeah.
5 feet, so.
Yep. The next project is a TIF-funded project. It's a 54th Street between 412 and rail track. This project is currently finished the design, like final stage of the design. So as soon as the budget approves in the next couple of months, it will go out for bid.
I'm going to keep jumping in on the good news. You just keep bringing it to us. This fixes a road that needs to be fixed, comes from a TIF that's done for business, Renew Energy.
Yep.
And how many jobs is Renew Energy bringing?
There's 96 jobs, with $8.6 million budget starting next year for their finance. Plus, as the chief related on Tuesday, also $500,000 from this TIF is going for a new fire truck.
Yes. So this wouldn't be happening if Renew Energy wasn't doing what they're doing, because the money here is coming from the value in what they're building out there that's going to create a difference in what the property tax is now and what it's going to be. And the law allows us to harness that to use for public-private development infrastructure. And so this is a fantastic case of your city using the law and TIFs and development to benefit our infrastructure needs.
Yes, and then on top of that, the $26 million building that they're putting up out there, they're using only local construction people, electricians, and plumbers. And then on top of that, when we had our county tax assessor on the board with us and everything else, the amount of property value that went up on that property that hadn't been used in 15 years has been sitting there and just collecting tax. The tax bracket went up tremendously, so schools are getting their money out of that one, too.
And the street will be built to the current industrial standards, like truck traffic. So it's going to be last longer.
Okay.
Jason going to cover a few projects.
Mayor, Commissioners, pleasure. The next one that we're going to go over is a property improvement expansion and acquisition projects. $1 million total for that handful of projects there. The major project that's involved in this account is the York and Van Buren signal pole replacement. This is one of the, we had a list of about 4 signal poles through town, and this is number 3 on the list of 4 that we're working through. This project will remove and replace the existing poles and add ADA sidewalks and upgrade all of the crosswalks to push buttons and audible crosswalks. The next project is a school zone beacon communications contract renewal. This is every 10-year type thing that comes along. Basically, it's the software program that runs the school beacons, what communicates the school beacons to the service center's communications. The next project is remote traffic monitoring software. This is a continuing upgrade to our signals throughout town. 35 of our intersections are smart, to say it right. And this remote monitoring software helps control 14 of those, which the 14 is the two main corridors through town, Van Buren and Garriott. Excuse me. We got $100,000 for traffic cabinets, and this is a continuing project, kind of along the lines of the previous. The public works department, the service technicians, service department, I can't remember their name, but they're the ones that will administrate this. And so the big old silver cabinets you see by intersections are what actually control the signals and where the communication and all that happens. And so we have a total of 54 intersections throughout town. And so this is just a continual project where we purchase new cabinets to upgrade and replace the intersection. And so you'll see this, you've probably seen this before, so you'll see it again.
Jason, can we back up one slide?
Yes, sir.
And I think this is where we'd have to talk about it. Had a guy that has a driving school bring this to my attention, that at, I think, 4 of our intersections that have all the lights now and the turn signals, that 4 of them come up as red and green arrow at the same time.
Okay.
And that he's had students that are just, they go part way and they stop and they go part way.
Mm-hmm.
I got thinking about those 4 intersections he was talking about. I see a lot of accidents at some of those.
Okay.
And I think all that has to be done is just pull another line of cable through there to make those changes. I'm talking out of my scope, but, you know, that might be something that,
Yeah, I'll check into that and see what either, there may be something wrong with, just simple, that's wrong with the software. Because a lot of these are actually ran by Cat6 cable, like your internet cable. And so they're pulling cable through isn't quite like it used to be with the old copper wire things. And some of the upgrades that we've done lately have included those. So let me check into that. And if you recall the 4 intersections, could you get that information to Gerald and we'll get that
for you.
Okay,
I'll get those for you.
We'll get that checked out. Absolutely,
Okay.
no problem.
I just think if it's something simple that we can do that
I would
help
think it would be
one
absolutely.
person in a traffic accident.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't say that I could do it, but I know the guys that run it. I know they
There you
can. So,
Just to be clear on, because O and K and Van Buren are the most traffic, but they are state highways, correct? But the city's responsible for the lights, but state handles the actual condition of the streets, is it?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
good to go.
Described as outside the white lines are ours, inside the white lines is the state's.
Okay, gotcha.
Next property improvement type project is also out at the service center. I'm sure they'll probably be the ones that administer it too. It'd be security access to building 100. Currently, right now, the front doors are the only ones that have the badge access. The rest of them are key. I think they're upgrading those to help with that. Next project is service center generators at buildings 100 and 600. Both of these buildings, if we lose electricity, we lose those buildings. So obviously, that's no bueno. Paint building 100 exterior, it's just, it needing some maintenance type painting done to it. We're going to add 2 new generators for the landfill. One will be for the landfill shop and also one for the gatehouse. And this is a project here that's in this building. It's be downstairs for the code and community development departments. Basically, they're going to upgrade the downstairs to where it'll include a window, a service window, and some shift the conference rooms around. This is to continue the landfill permitting process. Right now, we're looking to expand the landfill in the long-term future. The permitting process for that is about a 15-year or 20-year? 8-year. We've been over dramatic for you, but 8-year project that requires a lot of work, and this is just the continuation of that permitting. And then this out at the landfill, it's been drawn to the attention of the guys out there that they need some upgrades to the I just lost the word. Convenience center out there. Yeah. So this is where you bring your recyclables and things of that nature out there to that. And so new pad and some new areas improved upon and improved.
The next fund is the property repairs and maintenance. There are 3 projects in this fund. Transition plan, this is a part of transition plan. We do ADA improvements, part of the transition plan. So this FY24 is a Meadow Lake Park. So there are picnic tables, restrooms, access to the picnic tables, pavilions. Those are the main addressing things in the next FY '24, part of this project. The next project is Convention Hall weatherproofing. The current building has some concern about rainwater getting into the building. So this fund addresses weatherproofing the walls, windows, and the roof. Next project is a library roof. This roof is been installed back in 2006. Last couple hailstorms have damaged the existing roof, and there is a insurance claim also is going to be part of this, and this project will replace the roof of that library.
So will the claim cover that 300,000, or will that be our part?
I think a portion of this 300,000 will be claimed. So the total project cost is 300,000, but I'm not sure how much it's going to be.
We put in the budget actually 200,000, hoping that it's almost that much, but that's what we put in Fund 40 for revenue. For
Okay.
that.
Did the insurance company approve this claim?
I think usually we build it and bill them.
Okay, I mean, shouldn't we just be responsible then for the deductible part? I mean, if it's an insurance claim, aren't we just, as a city, shouldn't we just be responsible for the deductible and not the, I mean, I get that we're getting reimbursed, but.
Yep.
What happens is we'll file a claim, have an adjuster come out from OMAG. I don't know if we've done that yet. We have?
Yep.
Okay, have they come out, or,
Yes, they've already been out.
and then typically don't they send a check?
So we've already been partially reimbursed for
Okay.
this, and then we will have additional reimbursement after this project is completed.
Okay, so, yes,
Yeah.
we got a check, and then we'll get another one, I guess, when the
Good.
project's done based on the cost.
And what does that go to then, the funds from that check?
It goes into the general fund revenue,
Okay,
and I think Jennifer said they've already budgeted, well, no, you budgeted capital improvement for that.
We've
Okay.
budgeted in capital for next year,
So
for
will
the
it
end
go
of
in
the
Fund
project
40?
receiving.
So, it would go in this capital improvement Fund 40 that these things are funded out of?
okay.
And then do you want to explain how that sits in the fund balance then? And because 300,000 is the total cost, right? of the
Right.
roof? So essentially what that 200,000 does is just put money back in the account. And we
Okay.
can in turn later appropriate that money for other projects, either now or next year. Is that
Well,
accurate?
We have it in there to actually pay for the
Okay.
majority of this project. So the project wouldn't get
I see.
funded if we didn't put that revenue in.
Sure.
The transfer from EMA would have had to been a much higher if we didn't have that 200,000 in there to,
Sure.
but we didn't know for sure what the dollar amount would be, so we're estimating.
Okay.
And then, what type of roof is that that's on there, and what type are we going back with?
This is going to be a Duralast, I think it's a 30 mil flat roof.
It's not the type that we put rock on or anything?
No, no.
It's the, like a vinyl
Vinyl, yeah.
liner that they put on?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Membrane,
all right.
membrane roof.
Yeah, yeah, I like those, okay,
Yeah, the same thing that we put on the library, fire station this year.
okay, all right, perfect.
And I'd like to quickly note that with CV2 funds, we were able to completely put a brand-new HVAC system on that library that we didn't have to pay for.
Very nice.
Next project is the reconstruction overlays. This is this project, it's a widening of Garland from Garriott to Randolph. Currently, the relocation of the utilities been done at the intersection, Garland and Randolph. And Garland and, on Garland, from Randolph to Garriott, a portion of the work has been completed. So this is going to fund the remaining portion of the project. So this is all done in in prior to widening the project.
Yeah. Because, so this one is Ward 1, in fact, it's close to where I live, so are we taking this to a 4-lane road with a center turn lane, or
No, it's just a 4-lane road.
just a 4?
Yep.
Okay. You know, are we having sidewalks, are we
Yep, there will
required to
be a
have
trail on
sidewalks
one
now?
side and sidewalk on the other.
Okay.
And since there is a tight corridor, so the existing ditch will become a underground pipes.
Okay.
So that's it.
When is expected completion date for this project?
The utilities are the construction, the road widening.
For the entire project, from, as far as utilities, widening the road, I mean, 2025, 26, 27?
So,
Grabbing them.
Okay.
so
That's fine.
yeah, utilities will be completed this year.
Okay,
And this will be, once we are done, then this project will be presented to the ODOT, and we will be in their ODOT cycle. So the current ODOT projects are the Cleveland between railroad track to Willow. So that takes about 2 years. So
Okay.
then we'll come back and work on the other project.
all right.
I'd like to add one thing. We are doing the Garland project a little bit different than projects like the Cleveland projects we've done in the past.
Yeah.
In the past, we've basically worked with ODOT, I don't want to say from the beginning, but basically from the concept of the project. This project, ODOT knows about it, they're aware that it's coming, but basically our goal is to present them a ready-made project.
Okay.
So a shovel-ready project. So basically, we're looking to cut the ODOT time frame, if you will, down a lot, because right now it takes time to go through the ODOT loops and hoops.
Sure.
So,
But it's, just to be clear, it's Garland all the way from O&K to Randolph, not just to, because I know in that, where we have Jiffy Trip and Atwoods, that's kind of a nightmare as is, but we're taking this all the way to Randolph.
yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
perfect, thank you.
Yes.
And also Randolph and Garland intersection too. So it's going to be,
Okay.
yeah, 4-1 direction.
What about on the west side of Randolph there? Because it goes into that Cedar Ridge.
Yep.
We're gonna make it like an intersection and just, like, I don't know, block it off with concrete, or is it just gonna be a T?
It's going to be a T, basically.
Okay.
If you look at on Willow, like there are a couple streets. One I can think of is the Nicholas subdivision. So it's just like an open end, so people can
Okay.
turn into it.
Sounds good.
And that addition you're talking about right there,
Cedar Ridge.
there on the west side's always been a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Because years ago, they allowed them to do it with one entrance.
Yeah.
So,
And I was, yeah,
certain times during the day, it's very challenging, so 4 lanes will help.
yeah. And Gerald and I just discussed this over the phone the other day about if a builder ever wanted to build a neighborhood just north of Cedar Ridge, we would have to take Randolph and expand it out west. And then at that point, we can hopefully add a second entry exit for Cedar Ridge, because that definitely should not have been approved, but that's long in the past now.
Yeah, I don't think we do any more additions where we don't have less than 2. They have to have 2 now, right?
That's exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I think there is a limit like 30 to 40 homes. So if it is more than that, it has to have,
Okay.
yeah, fire code doesn't even allow that, so they will jump in there, so. The next project is like, the set of projects are park projects. This first project in parks project is a master plan to work on the Crosslane Park. The goal is to get about 4 softball fields to 4 baseball fields, and improving parking and also restrooms and concession stands.
For this year's local street reconstruction projects, we've got two selected. The first is a continuation project, which is started this year as a 10th Street reconstruction between O and K and Chestnut, and then also Birch, Van Buren to Washington is a rehab, is kind of a continuation. It was designed this year. 10th Street will be complete reconstruction, all new road, all new sidewalks. We got some water line that's going to be taking place first, and then we'll come back in and do the road work. There's a few sections in there that are excluded because they got fairly new sidewalks because of previous projects, but mostly new, all new sidewalks and all that. Second project is the Birch Avenue rehab. We worked on this project in design this year, and through the design and our study of the project, it was determined that we can make the improvements that are needed for the road with an overlay. So this $100,000 that you're seeing will go to the Public Works Department for the overlay of the project. We will also be doing a portion of that street name just slipped out of my mind. Jackson? Monroe. Sorry, thank you. Monroe, we'll be redoing that section there as well.
So Commissioner Roberts, what he was saying is that's an asphalt street for the rest of it, and we're going to use the asphalt program. It'll be much more economical, still fix that.
Even though it's got heavy traffic with,
Heavy traffic, we're going to work with Enid Concrete and route them Monroe to Poplar, which Poplar is built for that.
okay.
And it's my understanding Enid Concrete wants to help out Raleigh on the Monroe part anyway, so we would appreciate that. That's what I call a friend of the city.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Gerald. That's kind of a key component in what we determined in our study of the project is Enid Concrete actually doesn't really use that road as much as what it seems they would. The next set of projects is the reconstructions and overlays. We have $2 million set aside for 4 projects. The first project is a design project for Randolph Avenue between 16th and 25th. We will begin the design process in looking at the utility relocations that'll be required for that section of street. The next project, which is also a design project, will be the reconstruction of Grand Avenue, kind of the downtown connection between O&K and Main Street. We'll get the design for that done. Basically, the entire thing, kind of like we always do, road, sidewalks, and water. We have this project ready to go. It's shovel ready as soon as the water line construction is complete, which is the reconstruction of Randolph from Van Buren over to Washington. Just be kind of the continuation of the Randolph Mill and Overlay projects that we've done. The water line construction, I think, is set to begin in June, and probably take about 6 months probably to complete, and then hopefully the reconstruction will be coming along behind that. And the last reconstruction project that we're going to do, this is also a TIF project, as discussed earlier, is 66th Street, north of Willow, 0.7 miles. I always say it's from Willow to the old canola plant, if anybody remembers that. But it'll be, we'll redo that road to a concrete road. No sidewalks, no shoulders, just basically a straightforward concrete type road. Joel, do you want to speak to the TIF on that one any?
Well, thank you for asking. Yes, there's another great example. That entire road was a terrible road, and it predates our asphalt program. Probably 10 years ago, whenever TP&L came, that was a fast-moving project. The city showed extreme flexibility. The process did not work like it normally does. They started grading. Then we gave them a grading permit and moved on and on. ODOT helped on this project. We did a TIF, and we built that fine road that's capable of supporting the industry there from 412 all the way just past Willow, I
Yeah,
believe.
to Willow, yeah.
But the rest of it's terrible. I don't recall if, is that your Ward 3?
It's actually in Ward 4, but the TIF is in Ward 3 and actually covers that. And I was on the board on that one, and we added that in due to the fact of how bad that road was tearing the school buses up for Pioneer School District. And they were actually traveling 4 miles out of the way, which added to gas, fuel, and everything else, and put a strain on the school district. So when we renewed the TIF for the laydown yard, we had them pay for that whole section to look just like it was south of Willow.
And it'd be fantastic. You may wonder, well, why doesn't that go to Breckenridge? That's because previously there was a business up there. It wasn't the canola people. You can kind of see the yard there, I guess. The city had required them to do concrete, and they did. They happily did that. It was an oil field place, and I think they had plenty of money. We're happy to do it. They're no longer there, but the city's still here, and now we got a nice road. So where that blue line ends, those roads connect, and that'll be a solid 3-mile stretch of good road from Breckenridge to 412. That's also the area that the city's trying to further develop into an expanded or another industrial park. So you may hear, well, you will hear more about that. In fact, I think we have some more in the budget on that, don't we? Oh, I guess it'll be added to the budget later when we figure it out. Thanks, Morali.
That project is currently in design, and it'll be wrapped up towards the end of July, probably timeframe. And so this project will be ready to go right after the first fiscal year.
Will that road be down before school starts?
That'd be awful. That'd be awful early, Commissioner.
Just ask.
Yeah.
It said design by July.
I just asked.
Morales gonna come up and wrap it up.
I know you guys are good, but I was just trying to squeeze just a little more out of you.
The next fund is the Sanitary Sewer Capital Improvement Fund. We got 3 projects, about $1 million. One of the successful projects, programs, city implemented is the I&I projects. In the past, I mean, I've been with here like almost 18 years. This program been running for 21 years. So the program, like we used to have so many, like we have the whole city is of clay pipes. So these clay pipes over the years have protruding tabs and roots coming into the system and settling and stuff like that. So there is a lot of infiltration and exfiltration into the system. So it's all burdened to our sewer treatment plant. So our plant is designed about 8 million gallons in the past. Our water consumption is only 6 million in the past, but our water to the sewer plant is about 12 to 12.5 million gallons. So there is so much infiltration into our system that costed the city a lot. So this program eliminated probably 60 to 70% of it. It's a very successful program. Every year we do about like 50 point repairs, we call them. So we replace 10 to 15 feet every location. Part of this program, there is a video inspection program. So they go and inspect every line segments. And they come up with the problem childs, and they will go back and fix those. So $750,000 for this program. The next one is a root control. This is another program. It's a successful program. It adds chemicals into the sewer system. They kill all the roots inside it. They last only for 3 years. They warranty for 3 years. So we have a cycle. We know where the roots are in our city. So this every 3 years we'll go back to the same pattern. So they will reduce our backups and overflows into our sewer system. Construction repairs. All our lift stations doesn't have any backup power. So if there is any power fluctuations or bad weather, we are scrambling at the end of the moment to go get rent the generators to put these lift stations into service. So this backup powers will help all the lift stations in operation.
How many lift stations do we have?
We have about 13. The next set of projects are sewer treatment plant upgrades. There are 4 projects tied to this fund. We built the brand-new sewer plant. I would say brand new, it's about 10 years ago, 2012. This is the new plant, and this is the old plant. When we built this new plant, we did only the liquid side of it. We have not touched the solids side. So it's a dire need of the upgrade of the solids. So this $150,000 will help to preliminary design the relocation of the solids portion right there into this new location. This also includes building a new digesters and belt presses or solids handling system. And the new plant, this is the headworks building. There is a H2S problem, so we are also working, this fund also will help us to explore options how to eliminate the H2S.
So will we be done with the old
Yes.
plant then
Yep.
completely?
Yes. I have a next slide. So we are planning to start demolishing the old plant. So it's a really expensive demolition, so we are going to take chunks at a time. So this first $150,000 will start demolishing these 2 portions of the plant, and we'll start working year by year to remove everything at the
To
bottom.
take it out?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is a overflow basin. We are going to keep that one in working.
The peak flow basin you're gonna keep?
Yep.
So Morale, the solids processing building over there will no longer use the old plant, is that what you're saying, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Raleigh, also on this, on the new solid, the headwork and solid plant primary design,
Yeah,
this is just a design at the moment?
that's correct, sir.
Okay. So I was just concerned that we had, I don't know how long the lease is good for, but that new location, I believe, is in the lease that's south of that plant, so
I don't know how long the lease is good for, but
we're gonna have
it should be
to,
fine because, oh, you're talking about where it's in the way?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
where the new position
Right,
is.
yep, on the south side.
Yeah, on that south side, that's part of a different lease that we approved, and I don't know how long we have left on that lease.
Well, that's where I got confused. This is for design, right?
Design.
This is just for
'Cause I
design,
was saying,
okay.
how in the world are we doing? Because I think we're talking 10 million plus
Yes.
to build.
Right.
Okay, thank you. So you will have a while.
Okay.
So that road is a lease boundary, that south road?
No, that's city-owned property south there, but it's being leased, and you guys
Oh, it's being-
approved.
we've leased it
Yes.
to somebody.
You've leased it
Okay.
to somebody, you approved the lease on there, and I don't know how many years is on that lease,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, and I believe they're always subject to our need, but I'm guessing this isn't going to happen next year, but it's
Right,
going to
it
happen.
might be at least 2
soon.
years. We got to design
We
and.
need to get past the call lake
Yep,
completion, but the design will be done.
yes. Yeah, it takes about 2 years for the design, selection of the operation and stuff like
So we need to keep that
that. Yep,
lease.
this is the demolition of the, phase 1 demolition of the old plant. The next project is the upgrading of the HVAC for the administration building on the new sewer plant. The next project is, next project is, we have done a pilot testing on the two processes that we going to select one. The design is completed, so one of the 2 pilot testing is complete. So the second pilot testing is end of this month. So once we got the pilot testing is completed, this will be go to bid to replace one of the belt presses in the building right here. Next fund is the stormwater fund. There is a $50,000 of maintenance for the public works department. About like 9 projects in the flood control projects. Oh, sorry. Yeah, about 9 projects for $2.2 million. The first project is establishing a flow line and also bring it to a concrete bottom, 8 feet concrete bottom, and so this year it's already designed, and phase 1 of this project is going to be awarded in the next month. This funds, the $400,000, going to be a change order or phase 2 of that project.
So there's nothing there right now, it's just a dug-in
Dirt
ditch.
channel, yeah, it's a drainage, dirt channel, yeah.
And it's gonna be replaced with concrete?
Yep.
Okay.
So 8 feet concrete bottom with flared sections.
Okay.
Very good. The another same drainage problem is going to be between Johnson and Hayes, just north of Live Oaks. This portion is a dirt channel going to be converted into a concrete flume, basically. This is also phase 1. There are a couple blocks, so we are tackling 1 block at a time. This year it's going to be 1 block, and following year we'll come back at phase 2. Another project is on Don Haskins Park. Right here, there is a 72-inch pipe. It's going to daylight into the creek. The end wall, wing walls, is settling, and that needs to be repaired. The complication is there is a sewer line right here, so a little complicated project. That's the reason city engineering is handling this project. Next project is rebuilding of the culvert box on Southgate, south of Southgate on Garland. This is one of the 2 remaining wooden bridges in town. So city took care of a lot of culverts before. This is the last one. The next one is right there. So we are taking 1 project at a time. This will current wooden structure rated 5 tons, but we know there are a lot of truck traffic goes through that area.
Yeah.
So
When was that built? Any idea?
they wouldn't. I don't think there is
Yeah.
anything resembles there. This is the another project, Willow Lift Station. This lift station takes the storm water and pumps out of it. So it's been, this is going to be a rehabilitation of the existing lift station, control panels, fence, and access to that lift station. Next project is the establishment of flow lines in our drainage system. Over the years, the silted channels is going to block the drainage system. So we are taking a couple locations at a time and re-establishing those drainage channels. Another project in Lisa Lane, that is a dirt channel right here, and since it is so flat, the water stagnates all the time, and it's a health issue. So this concreting that liner is going to help drainage system wise. Another project, it's along Cornell between Kennedy and 4th Street. This is a flat area, so whenever it rains, the water stagnates everywhere. So this project will help establishing new channel and new We need to upgrade this culvert right here and install a culvert on the driveway. And there is an existing storm sewer. We're going to tap into that system. Another floodplain project, flood control project on Eisenhower. There is a retaining wall right next to this property, and the flow from this carpeted area is going to touch this area, is going to affect the property, so improving the retaining wall to that location.
How tall is that wall?
It's a 2 Jersey barriers, so it's going to be like at least 6 or 7 feet.
Yeah, it's probably 5 to 6 foot tall.
About 6, okay, okay.
You go up to it, it feels deep, but we got deeper around town.
Okay.
Next is the Water Capital Fund.
Well, before you leave there, what are we gonna do with our new detention facility? I don't see any funding for it.
It's on Cleveland, Chestnut. So we are going to design in-house. So once the design is complete, next year we'll come back and,
So it'll be on the agenda next year
Yes,
for
sir.
construction?
yep.
Okay.
Are you talking about the one on Cleveland? Yeah,
What about Blanton's
okay,
barn?
yeah.
The next fund is the Water Capital Improvement Fund. There are a couple of maintenance projects and exist infrastructure, upgrade infrastructure. There are 3 projects in the maintenance, street repairs, wherever the water cuts are. Previously, we used to go back and put asphalt as a temporary. So this this program will help to go back and replace all the temporary fix to the permanent repairs. The next one is going to be replacing the 3 pump stations in our well field, Ringwood, Clio, and water plant number 2. The next project is replacing of fire hydrants and valves. So these are all projects will be handled by Public Utility Department. So this is they buy the material and install by the crews. So,
Chief, are we behind on replacing fire hydrants? Do we have some that are worn out, or is this just normal maintenance to catch up?
To answer your question, yes, we're behind. We've had varying programs over the years for valve maintenance and things like that. And at times, the water department has been able to replace multiple hydrants that we consider to be out of service, which means they're not operable at all. And I haven't talked to them in a while. After the last round of hydrants that they replaced, I believe we still have as many as 30, possibly up to 40 hydrants across town that are out of service, that need to be replaced. They're inoperable.
And those are properly noted with a disc, right?
Yes, sir.
What color?
the black.
Black. And it says out of service on them, yes.
Okay.
So we have it in our mapping systems. We know they don't work. They're visually noted so that there's no doubt when we go into an area for structure fire, we know we can't use that hydrant. And it gets people's attention. We used to just paint the bonnets. When we're painting the bonnets, the gray hydrants were out of service. Now with the rings, it's more apparent. But yes, it's
How many
been
total
kind of a
fire
continuing
hydrants do we
issue.
have? How many do we have, fire hydrants?
It's a little over 3,000, isn't it?
Yeah, 3,500, yeah.
Yeah,
A lot.
it's a lot.
What's the service life on the, just one fire hydrant, the new ones that we're installing? How long are they expected to last?
We've got hydrants that are well over 40 years old,
Yeah.
with no issues. Some of those older hydrants were still operable, but they were from a time where fire truck couldn't pump a lot of water and the mains were smaller. And so I think there's actually still only 2 in town that have 2 outlets on them instead of the 3 that you're used to seeing. So those the point of replacing many of them over the years, because they can be worked on, parts replaced, things like that. But, maintenance makes them last for a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's sometimes get to a point they actually need to be replaced.
We try to look into contracting each one. Like when we look at it, like it's going to be minimum $25,000 for replacing one. So I think public utilities is doing a great job taking in-house and doing that.
I know it's expensive, but
Yep.
if you're living next to one that doesn't work and your house burns down, it's not even fun.
Thankfully, we have redundancy in the system. But you're right, Commissioner.
As long as we're managing it, and it sounds like he is managing it and aware of where they are, so.
Yes, that was a priority a while back when the water department helped us replace some. We took a look at the higher risk areas. If there's a large square footage building, high occupancy buildings, and areas, residential areas where there were multiple hydrants that had gone bad, we addressed those first so that we could get water where we need it. So we can manage where we're at now, but of course we want to replace those hydrants so it's more efficient if something happens.
The next project is the upgrades to our water system. The project is, since we are bringing car water from plant 2 to plant 1, so this spaghetti right here, I call spaghetti, of pipes, so that needs to be rearranged to bring water from plant 2 to plant 1 and reconnect into our system. So this project will address that connection. With that's the total funding projects and funds, about 51 projects. Have any questions or concerns?
2 questions and a request. First off, I'd like to commend you all for the work that you're doing. It's outstanding. Just a little history. When we started the point repair, I heard it said 5 years, but actually it's been around for 8 years. I was the first contractor awarded that point repair. And to see it up to 1.9 million, that's impressive. So my question is that awarded to one contractor?
So I think there are multiple contractors, that's what I see.
Typically, they have kind of a, kind of like a base type project, and that usually encompasses probably 3/4 roughly of the 1 million
Okay.
for that. And then the rest of it then that's awarded through bid through to a single contractor. And then the remaining funds they use kind of like for individual kind of spot repairs that come out throughout the year. Right now, they're sitting on a list that it's a pretty long list, 5-year list at several project locations, that's their focus with that portion.
Okay.
So the way we're doing it, we're bidding it out, it's a single contractor for the amount of funds you said. On the jobs that that fit the spending criteria that we go out and get quotes on, those are typically 2 or 3 different responsive vendors. JMB's one, Luck and Bill's one, EMC from time to time. I don't call the others. So I think just this current year, this is the first year that we bid it out that way for our point repairs and also the water cuts. I think Luck and Bill's got the concrete repairs and JMB had the water cuts.
That's right. Yeah.
Who had the second one? I didn't hear.
J&B.
JMB, okay.
Yeah, I think this is the second year that we've kind of done it in that manner. The first year, we kind of didn't like the results that we got, and we made some adjustments this year that I think we found our system, and we found the groove for it that is really cost-effective, timely, and gets a lot of locations done for that piece of.
We are getting ready to bid that out again, aren't we?
Yes,
Okay.
it will be coming released probably next 2 weeks to a month, maybe.
So when that goes out on the street for the world to try and get the best deal, we take the lowest bid that meets the specs.
You drive around town, you can see a lot of new concrete where they've cut that out and fixed it. So That's good.
So can we get, I don't know if this is provided, but I would like a calendar as to when these events are scheduled to begin, and that way I can inform constituents who might ask me about certain things. I will say I'm very happy to see that we have that, the neighborhood behind Indian Hills, that drainage system scheduled, because I was actually asked about that by a constituent after the election, and he walked me out there and showed me exactly what the problem was, so I can give him a call and tell him, hey, help's on the way, but I'd like to know when I can tell him, so.
Meadows?
Meadows.
Yes. the
Time
Meadows.
frames are, well, the Meadows, they can tell you if we're in the bid process.
Yeah, we just had pre-bid,
Okay.
just had pre-bid
Pre-quotes.
sometime this week, sorry.
Okay.
This week has run together. So timeframes are kind of difficult when you're looking at these type of projects, because it's part of the contractor's bid. And since we award to low bidder, they may be the low bidder on one or two projects. And so how we choose to order that is kind of a factor that comes into play. And then also they get to bid the number of days it takes for the project.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of a construction means and method thing, to where we don't, I think we as a city and we as a department figure that, I don't want to tell the contractor how to do it. I want him to tell me his most cost-effective way to give us the best deal,
Okay.
meeting our standards. So.
So all these projects are still in pre-bid, or?
The projects what we have seen today,
Yeah.
they are going to be starting design in July 1st.
Okay.
So the whole year for 2024, like from July to June, we'll have design, construction, multiple projects. So currently, you'll see in the next June meeting, we have multiple projects going to be awarded. So in the FY23, we have designed all these projects. So they are in the bidding stage right now. So they will be in construction FY24.
Okay.
So usually a design and construction a year lag. Whenever you approve a project, that will be designed that year, and the construction will be the next year. So.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And there's a little bit of a mix in there too. I'd
Yeah.
like to say that too, because your example of Meadows, it's out to bid right now, and what you saw on our presentation here is phase 2 of the previous portion.
Okay.
So it'll be, phase 1 is out to bid currently, and then phase 2 will be either as a change order add to
The existing
the
project.
existing project.
Okay, perfect.
When would you anticipate that the Meadows bid would come to the council? A couple months from now
It's going to
or
be June.
Yeah, but before July.
before
Okay.
July 1st? So then when you see that on the agenda, I will be able to give you a much better timeline because we'll have the bid that we're thinking is the
You'll
lowest
see
that meets
the-
the specs for you to
Okay.
approve and
Once we vote and approve on a bid, what's the turnaround from approval to actually shovel break?
They can tell you there's a certain amount of time before they give them a notice to proceed and then whatever the days are.
Okay.
The main reason, like, we have only handful of contractors in town.
Right.
So we would like to work with them.
Yeah.
If I don't work with them, I don't have no bids.
Yeah. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
so technically, I'm going to say, okay, they are going to dedicate say the time, contract time. And if they bid the 2 projects, so since they bid 2 projects, they have so much limited crew. So I will work with them on the execution of the project. So they finish 1 project and come back and I'll issue notice to proceed to the next project.
I can tell you from experience, do not give anybody any dates or any guesstimated times that something's gonna start or be done. Because if it's not done on the date that you said that it was gonna be done, they will blow up your phone and they will talk to you for 2 hours and yell at you about it not being done, and it's nothing that you can control.
I'm a roofing contractor, I understand that.
And don't speak for anything in somebody else's ward either.
No,
because
no.
It's your responsibility too.
No. You have my word on that. I will send them your way.
I tell them.
What's your address again?
I tell them to contact Morales' office.
It's not a problem. We're there.
Then we're on to my second question. Is everyone done? Are we clear on that one? All right. My second question, on the sidewalk, 50/50. How are we doing on that? On that, are we getting a lot of customers that are putting in new sidewalks with the 50/50 program?
I think the main is like, they're excited to see the program. They will come here and talk about it, and they will apply for their permit
Okay.
application. By the time we design it and get the codes, and we'll go back and say, this is the 50% cost, what it is, your portion is, they will go back. So like, yeah, it's too expensive, they cannot offer. So, like, there are a couple property owners every year, they move forward and say, let's get it done. And 50% of the house owners, they said, yeah, it's too expensive for us.
So are we using up the whole 50,000 on that one, or?
Not 50,000, at least, like, sometimes one commercial property will take the whole 50%. So, I mean, whole 50,000,
So typically, we do use the whole budget.
Pretty much.
time to time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, to elaborate a little bit on what Morales said, I think we had, if I remember correctly, we had like 12 applicants this year. And through the inspection process and qualification process, I think roughly 6 probably made it to the quote phase. And then I think from the quote phase to actual awarding a contract to someone, I think that narrowed down to 3, right? So, and it was actually 3 properties through the same owner, so.
And that's a really good program because you get 3 bids.
Yep.
So I mean, you go with lowest bidder,
Right.
we can really stretch the dollar
Yeah.
that way.
Yep.
You know, back when I was doing it, it was like $68 a yard, it's 140 something a yard now. So it's a big difference. I understand, but my last thing is a request. Can we, Gerald, since we have our mayor and new commissioner, Blevins, can we have the map, you know, how we show
Sure.
the map of all the roads that we've done and what our goals are? And
I think we have that planned for you on Tuesday, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
All right.
You took my thunder, so that's my next slide. So this is what we were planning to show in the next slide, so.
that'll work. That's all I have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's for proposed
Yes, sir.
construction in this fiscal year.
Yes.
We can also, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it'll be this table on a map, I guess, it's kind of a
Yep.
way to say it, what we've got proposed upcoming, I guess plus 5 years, sorry, excuse me, I was
Yeah.
kind of wrong. This is the last 5 years, we'll have that on the map, and then we'll have the plus the 5 years,
Yeah, that should be
looking
fine.
ahead, so.
And we plan to get that posted as soon as possible. We're going to have at least the list posted Tuesday. That way, I think we have a pretty good 5-year listing, but I'm sure the public will help us determine what we've missed. And so when they call you or call us, we're happy to add those to the list. And if they're worse than a street we have above them, we may do some reordering. But I think that's a good start, and hopefully that will get the information several of you are asking for. So.
Yeah, that's the last slide. Just to show city spending a lot of, every year, progress on the streets, so. And they're
So for the next
revamping
fiscal year, we've got a total of $6.8 million,
Right.
which is more than any year but one in the previous 5.
Okay, that's all I have. Questions?
Any other questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thanks, Morale.
Okay, this is when we can talk, discuss, make motions, or anything about this section of the agenda, which is pretty much everything except EMA, EPTA, and EEDA, because those will be on the next couple of sections.
Let me jump in and just address a need that was talked about, I think last meeting, that we weren't able to fund, at least at this point. I know when we talked about the golf budget, we talked about irrigation challenges and about a $1.8 million challenge. I know Michael League is doing a fantastic job out there. He has put together and suggested that we could phase it, starting with a pump station, and then break the irrigation into 2 9-hole segments. Those would be very expensive, but the first part of that, the pump station's about $250,000. What I think that we might be able to do to address that need is when we get into the new budget year, get about 4 to 6 months into the new budget year, take a look at the revenues that are coming in. I think we've budgeted conservatively on revenues. Hopefully we'll see a trend with revenues higher. And I believe that we might be able to consider addressing that with a supplemental budget amendment. So, everybody knows, the folks that have been here for a while know that this is, whatever gets approved next Tuesday is called the original budget. But the original budget is never the final budget when you get to the end of the year. And that's based on resources that become available to spend, or if there are emergency things that we have to do. If we have to use some reserves, we can do that. So typically we have several supplemental budget requests throughout the year, and my intent is to try and address the pump station through one of those, depending on how revenues go. And I think from talking to Jennifer, I think maybe 4 to 6 months will give us enough time to see how things are looking. And then I think we might be able to impact that. If there's some other needs that we haven't got in here, we could probably look at the same thing, so.
I had a question. What about, where are we at with the dredging of Meadow Lake? Where?
Good question. It didn't make the budget, but could you address that?
Yes, we couldn't put it in like it's about $10 million, so it didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
And I'm working with Stephen to see if there are any funds available or from grants. So we'll see where how that's going to work out. But in meantime, we are also working on shoreline stabilization. It might come before that. If the designs, we are working internally and working with a couple of the suppliers and stuff like that. If that comes to fruits in the next year, we'll come back. This is the design projects, let's shovel ready, so we can bid this project, so.
Any other
Speaking of what Gerald just said, that we come back during the year, a lot of times, last year with our asphalt program, since we went so far and we ran out of asphalt, we appropriated $500,000 more for asphalt that they used before the end of the fiscal year, so we had the money, we had the means to do it, and they were doing such a great job with the streets and everything that we appropriated another $500,000, and they went through that. They knocked out a large section, so.
So once these projects have been approved by us here, Morale, do you guys start working on next year's projects that you would like to see? Because obviously, since we're doing north side of O&K on Garland, the soccer complex and hopefully movie theater will be on the south side of Garland and O&K, and I think that stretch of Garland is going to need to be widened due to the increased traffic. So I'd like to see that on, how do I influence that for next year, basically is what I'm getting at.
Well, by bringing it up right now, it is a need that we know is coming.
It's already been discussed that we're gonna have to improve that Garland road, and as we hope that area is gonna really develop down there. And so I don't think there's any doubt that we're gonna have to do that.
Okay.
We're just, we gotta get movie theaters gotta come to fruition and those kinds of things. And
Sure.
so, as you have probably already figured out, building roads, big deal.
Yeah.
Lots of coin to do that.
And even south on Route, it's real dusty, but that's something that we'll have to look at too. From Garland going west a little bit, because all the dust is gonna build up on that road, so.
Well, I've got something for you. I tell you what, we must just see the future, Morale. It's our Tuesday presentation. For those of you watching in TV land or internet, come on down, because we're going to talk. Several commissioners have talked for some time about our unimproved roads. We do grade them, as often as we can, but a lot of them, we could grade them every week, and we still have issues. So we are trying a new product. I call it Goop, but I think it's called Base Bind. It's water mixed with magnesium chloride, some other kind of proprietary stuff. I think they say tree sap. We take that, we just bought a trailer that I understand we have in, and we're going to use that with our own street department to start working some of these unimproved roads where when we can grade them, we can put this material and pack them, we can put this material down, and and something about it pulls in the moisture and then hardens it so that we don't have to grade it for a while. I have seen what magnesium chloride has done before, which it was pretty good for 3 or 4 months, and then we had to work on it again. This salesperson told us it would be good for a year. Now, I told him that I'll believe that when I see it, but we are trying it. We have bought the product. I think we have a bladder sitting out there, and we have a 2,000-gallon trailer. Our first road that we're going to try that on is Roop, out there, let's see, on IMO to Wheat Ridge. I believe that's in Ward 1. And then we're going to go from Wheat Ridge to Garland. And our hope is that could work until such time as, this would probably be probably many years in the future, that someday we're going to need to pave that.
Yeah.
And before we do that, we'll need to widen Garland. But I want to say that, and I know Commissioner Orr, who's not here, he'll be glad to hear the next street that we're going to do is Van Buren and Cleveland. Those are problem streets, unimproved. Van Buren up north of Purdue, and just gets washboarded. So I have high hopes for this, and if it doesn't work, then I'm going to call that salesman in to help me account publicly for why it's not working. But actually, I'm kidding, because I think it will work. I've seen magnesium chloride work. I just hope this lasts a little bit longer, and I think it'll give some relief. It also controls the dust. So I don't know if it'll be like magic, but if it works, I told somebody today that we would apply for PACE funds to put a statue of that salesman on one of these unimproved roads. So.
Any other comment on that? Jennifer, I'm going to move on then. Is that all right? Item number 5, recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. All trustees are here with the exception of Commissioner Orr. Item number 7, Enid Municipal Authority Special Meeting. 7.1, discuss, take action on the fiscal year 2023 Enid Municipal Authority Financial Plan.
And this is just moving on to EMA, Enid Municipal Authority. Any questions or discussions you would like to have over that section of the budget? The proposed budget. Hopefully will be approved Tuesday.
Okay. No changes on that or discussion. I'll move on to item number 8, adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Once again, all trustees are here with the exception of Trustee Orr. Item number 10, Enid Economic Development Authority Special Meeting. Item 10.1, discuss, take action on fiscal year 2023-24 Economic Development Authority Financial Plan.
This is where we discuss anything for EEDA, any questions or motions, discussions. Okay.
All right. Item number 11, adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. All trustees are present with the exception of Trustee Orr. Item number 13, Enid Public Transportation Authority Special Meeting. 13.1, discuss and take action on the fiscal year 2023-24 Enid Public Transportation Authority Financial Plan.
This was discussed by Aaron last Monday, the 1st, during the study session. So this is where we discuss anything, any questions, any motions for EPTA.
Everybody seems pretty happy on that. So item number 14, adjourn and reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Item number 15, discuss and take action on fiscal year 2023-2024 City of Enid budget. Anything you want to discuss? Okay? If not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
A second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.